He's so big. How do you block someone like that? I mean, Dion Lewis is going to have his work cut out as well when it comes to running the ball up the middle. He's going to get, whew, God, imagine being that little and you have to face someone who's 6'8", 330. I mean, I feel for him, but it's what he signed up for. But Bortles so far in the playoffs is undefeated. Tom Brady can't say that. Tom Brady has 9 playoff losses. Bortles undefeated. So, there's a positive there. But Bortles, on a real note, has only 1 passing touchdown and less than 325 passing yards in 2 postseason games, while Brady has over 330 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns in that 1 game against the Titans. But where the game is going to be won is all based on number 87 for the Patriots. Gronkowski, the 6'6", 255, wrecking ball, wrecking crew, Miley Cyrus type player. I mean, how do you stop someone like that? Clearly teams have been having problems. The only person who I can really say neutralized him was one of the best players in the league, Eric Berry, who held him to only 2 catches for 44 yards in week 1. And again, in week 1, it's sort of, everyone's everywhere. The team hasn't gelled 100%, and you're just really figuring out things. And the Patriots obviously played probably their worst game of the season in week 1 because, Hunt tore them a new one. But, so let me just give you some Gronk stats because, who doesn't like a little bit of Gronk stats? So Gronk in the postseason is averaging 86 receiving yards and about half a touchdown per game. Actually, no. That's his regular season stats, 86 receiving yards and half a touchdown. But in the postseason, he's averaging 76 receiving yards and 0.9 touchdowns. He knows how to find the end zone in these postseason games. Brady loves Gronk. It's a simple marriage made in heaven. And if I'm the Jaguars, if I'm really looking at this logically, I want to put Jalen Ramsey on Gronk all day long. Jalen Ramsey isn't undersized. He's 6'2", 205. So clearly he's given up nearly half a foot. But he's fast as hell. He's going to challenge him. Jalen Ramsey is one of the biggest competitors in the league. You just see him. He's trash-talking constantly. I mean, he's got a lot to back up in this game. He's talking a lot of trash. He has to back it up. He's backed it up so far, even though Jaguars did give up 42 points last week. Obviously, touchdown in garbage time. But the Jaguars need to improve dramatically if they're going to stop the Patriots. In fact, I have it right here. Jaguars cannot turn over the ball. They do have one of the highest turnover differentials in the league. But as a Seahawks fan, I know painfully well that you can't turn over the ball to the Patriots. Especially when there's less than a minute left and you have Marshawn Lynch. I'm just gonna end it there because I don't want to get into details about that. That was one of the most painful moments of my life. But Ramsey so far has allowed a 64.3 passer rating in man coverage, which is the 10th best among cornerbacks. And his partner in crime led all cornerbacks with a 31.6 passer rating in man coverage during the regular season. So A.J. Boye, Jalen Ramsey, both all-pro cornerbacks, best duo in football right now. But the problem is, in the postseason, they struggled very heavily against Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown had 132 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns on them last week, and that was with Boye mostly covering him in man. Ramsey had some looks on him. And that's a serious concern if Jalen Ramsey is going to be on Gronkowski most of the game, because A.J. Boye is going to be on a very similar receiver, Brandon Cooks, a number 1 wide receiver on the Saints, who's now on the Patriots, very fast, a little bit short, but he's got great hands and a great football IQ. So he's going to be a very big weapon, a very big X factor if Boye does continue to struggle. I seriously doubt he will, considering how great of a regular season he had. But it's something to look for. Hopefully he can bounce back from that game. I mean, Brown did come off a calf injury and put up those numbers. Just speaks to how great Antonio Brown is. In my opinion, he's the best wide receiver in the league. But another factor, again, like I said, Tom Brady did sustain that injury to his right thumb. He cut it. There was supposedly blood everywhere. He got stitches. And he said, oh, yeah, I might be questionable for this game. Which, I mean, come on. Let's be honest. Are you really going to start Brian Hoyer? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's all the answer I need. Just dead silence. I mean, can you imagine how bad the NFL ratings are going to be? I mean, the 4 supposedly best teams in the NFL have quarterback matchups of Hoyer versus Bortles for the NFC, and for the AFC, it's Keenum versus Foles. I mean, how just depressing is that? Hopefully Brady does play. He will play. I think he's just causing drama. But the injury, I think, will impact his play just a little bit. I mean, it's not good enough to take him out of a game. He's an NFL quarterback, for God's sake. I mean, it's a cut to your thumb. I mean, there's players playing with broken bones out there. Again, I don't advise they should do that, but it happens all the time. And plus, Brady has made the conference championship 12 out of his 18 years in the NFL. Bortles, again, this is his first playoff appearance. And again, that's going to be a huge factor. Experience is key. Bortles has never gone this far. And when Tom Brady's gotten this far 2/3 of his illustrious career, it's going to be a factor. Brady knows how to get to this point and farther. That's why he's got 5 rings. It's why he's the best quarterback of all time. So the Jaguars have to be incredibly efficient in the red zone and on offense with Bortles. Because the Patriots, guess what? They're also pretty well coached on defense. You might not know that. Of course you do. Because their red zone efficiency defense is number 1 in the NFL. They are incredible at forcing teams to take 3 over 7. They know how to keep teams out of the end zone. So Jaguars have to be efficient. Bortles has to make the most of his limited opportunities in the red zone. Bortles, again, he has to scramble. He has to be that dual threat we've been seeing in the playoffs. I mean, easily his most distinct trait in this playoffs has been his running ability. I mean, it's just come out of nowhere. He had more rushing yards and passing yards in the wild card matchup. I mean, what happened there? 88 rushing yards, 87 passing yards against the Bills. I mean, I don't even know. He's been looking like a totally different quarterback. He actually looks like a number 3 pick from UCF, by the way. Got to represent Central Florida. And again, Fournette's going to have to be a weapon as well on the ground. He has to carve out some sort of running game, even though they're going to be stacking the box. He's got to make some big plays. He's got to force some missed tackles. Because where the Jaguars excel the most is play action. Because Bortles can scramble after faking it. He can throw it deep. He's got to make the big plays. He's got to go deep and make those big plays that win big games. Because the Patriots are 18-3 in their last 21 home playoff games. So, again, all the odds are on the Patriots winning this game. You would have to be a fool, a sucker, to pick the Jaguars. Or maybe a crazy genius. I'll take that label. But the Jaguars, they did look amazing in the start to that Steelers game last week. They had a 21-0 lead. But the thing is, they nearly had a Falcons total collapse, engine stalling. Oh, I mean, do you have a flat tire? I mean, wait, what happened there? Did you blow a gasket? Did you have a brain fart? What happened there? You nearly blew a 21-0 lead, barely held on. They should have steamrolled away from the Steelers. It shouldn't have been that close. I mean, honestly, a decision to do an onside kick could have been the difference between the Steelers being in this game or not. So the Jaguars, if they get an early lead, which will be necessary, because the Patriots don't come out flat. They're not going to come out that flat. If they get an early lead, they have to be able to hold on the whole game. They have to have their offense on, the field and give the ball away from Brady. You got to get the ball out of his hands whenever you can. So Fournette, again, you got to waste time. You got to have the time possession. And again, it's not like the Patriots are gods. They're beatable. They had, 3 losses this season? And Eli Manning beat them twice. Eli Manning beat them in the Super Bowl. So if Eli Manning can do it, why can't Bortles do it? I mean, Brady lost in the 2015 conference championship to Peyton Manning. An aging Peyton Manning who was having a terrible season, probably one of the worst of his career. And yet he still beat them 20-18, even though it was down to the last play of 2-point conversion. And the Broncos had one of the best defenses of all time, which the Jaguars also can boast about. They have one of the best, in my opinion, of all time, because it's just seriously crazy the amount of talent they have. So the Jaguars do need to play a perfect game. Jalen Ramsey and co. have to shut down Brady. They have to back up the trash talk. They can't be the Steelers, because the Steelers talked trash in 2013. Brady dropped 55 points on them. You don't be the Steelers. You don't talk trash and get 55 dropped on you. A good model to live by is just don't be the Steelers, especially when it comes to playoff time. Don't be the Steelers. This is post-2000. You can't be the Steelers. Even though I know they've won Super Bowls with Roethlisberger post-2000. It's just, okay, maybe the last 5 seasons Steelers. You don't want to be like them. But my prediction, Jaguars winning. And for the Super Bowl, I have the Jaguars winning again. And holding up the Lombardi Trophy is Blake Bortles himself. Can you just imagine Blake Bortles holding up the Lombardi Trophy? I would just be jumping up and down. I would just be so elated if I saw that. That's going to be my dream for the next 2 weeks. Just seeing Bortles. Ugh. I mean, he's easily my favorite quarterback. I absolutely love Bortles. He's a living meme quarterback. But I think that's all I have for this podcast. You know, if you've listened to the whole thing, you know, I thank you very much. Good for you for powering through. You know, it's an exercise. It's like a workout. You gotta power through the middle. You gotta do those extra curls when you don't feel like doing them. When you got 10 reps, you're at 8, and you're like, oh, I can't do 2 more. But you did the extra 2 more, so I congratulate you. So you have any suggestions for what you want me to talk about next on the next podcast? Again, I have an Instagram account for this podcast, Sports Addict Podcast on IG. You can DM me, and I will 100% listen to what you have to say and totally do the research and talk about it next time. So, so I'm just going to leave you with some good advice. I think that's going to be a new trend with every podcast. I leave you with some good advice. And my advice for today would be, always save your money. Because you never know when there's going to be clearance sales online. You know, if you see those fake Yeezys that light up for $40, you're going to be like, dang, I should have saved my $40. Oh, those would look sick. Seriously. You never know when JCPenney's having a sale, or Old Navy. Dude, you know how many blue shirts I can buy? Oh, I should have saved my money. So that's all I got to say. Thanks for listening, and I'm out. Hasta la vista.